Welcome to the CASAS Certification Overview. CASAS, the Comprehensive Adult Student Assessment System, is the leading framework for evaluating adult learners' educational progress and competencies. Let's explore the CASAS role and core responsibilities. CASAS, the Comprehensive Adult Student Assessment System, is a widely used assessment system designed to measure the basic skills of adult learners, particularly in educational and workforce settings. The primary purpose includes assessing adult learners' basic skills in reading, math, listening, and writing, tracking educational progress and learning gains, and measuring workplace-relevant competencies. Core responsibilities encompass administering standardized assessments to adult learners, documenting and tracking student performance data, interpreting assessment results for educational planning, supporting curriculum alignment with assessment outcomes, maintaining compliance with funding and reporting requirements, and ensuring proficiency in maintaining assessment security protocols. Now let's examine the certification authority and training requirements for CASAS implementation. The certifying organizations include several key entities. CASAS is recognized by the U.S. Department of Education as the standard assessment system. State education departments oversee implementation at the local level. Adult education program administrators ensure compliance with assessment protocols. And workforce investment boards approve use for program metrics and accountability. Training requirements are comprehensive and mandatory. Practitioners must complete 75 to 120 hours of state-approved training. Initial certification requires CASAS implementation training, covering all core competencies. Additional requirements include test security protocols and procedures training, TOTSPRO Enterprise Data Management System training, Assessment Administration Procedures certification, and Accommodations and Special Testing Needs training. Now let's examine the CASAS assessment format. The CASAS certification process evaluates essential competencies through standardized assessments. The assessment includes up to 70 assessment questions, covering all core competency areas. Additionally, there are 5 performance skills assessments that evaluate practical application of learned competencies. The total testing time ranges from 90 to 120 minutes, providing adequate time for comprehensive evaluation. Importantly, all CASAS assessments are aligned with National Reporting System, or NRS, requirements, ensuring standardized measurement across all adult education programs. Let's examine the time limits and scoring structure for CASAS assessments. A written assessment consists of 60 to 70 questions covering all essential competency areas. Test takers have 90 minutes to complete all assessment sections, available in both computer-based and paper formats. For passing requirements, candidates must achieve 70 to 80% correct answers. These scores are mapped to NRS educational functioning levels. And importantly, scores translate to specific grade level equivalents and skill levels for educational planning. The performance component includes 5 randomly selected performance tasks, with 25 to 30 minutes allocated to complete the assessment. These tasks demonstrate practical competencies in real-world applications. For skills evaluation, all skills must be performed satisfactorily and are assessed by a certified evaluator. One retest opportunity is available if needed. Remember, test administrators must maintain CASAS certification to properly administer and evaluate assessments. Now let's examine the assessment content breakdown for CASAS evaluations. The CASAS assessment evaluates adult students across 7 key competency areas, each weighted by importance. The highest priority areas include reading at 25%, covering comprehension, vocabulary, and text analysis skills. Mathematics also accounts for 25%, focusing on numerical operations, problem solving, and practical applications. Priority 2 areas consist of listening at 20%, evaluating comprehension of spoken information and instructions. Writing comprises 15%, assessing written communication, grammar, and composition skills. Lower-weighted but equally important areas include critical thinking at 10%, measuring analysis, evaluation, and problem-solving abilities. Life skills accounts for 5%, covering practical everyday competencies and personal management. Finally, digital literacy represents 5%, focusing on technology skills relevant to educational and workplace settings. Now let's examine the CASAS Assessment Skills Checklist. CASAS administrators must master 2 critical skill categories to ensure effective assessment implementation. Assessment administration skills include 6 essential competencies. First, administrators must administer assessments according to standardized protocols. They must maintain assessment security and integrity at all times. Accurately timing assessment sessions is crucial for valid results. Creating optimal testing environments for adult learners ensures fair assessment conditions. Providing appropriate accommodations for special needs students meets accessibility requirements. Finally, operating the CASAS eTests computerized assessment platform requires technical proficiency. Data management skills encompass 6 key areas. Administrators must score and interpret CASAS assessment results accurately. They document assessment outcomes in TOPS Pro Enterprise system. Maintaining student records and progress data ensures continuity. Aligning results with NRS educational functioning levels provides standardized reporting. Using results to guide instructional planning connects assessment to learning outcomes. And generating reports for program accountability and improvement supports continuous quality enhancement. Now it's time for an interactive question. Here's the scenario. A student refuses to complete the CASAS assessment, stating they already took a similar test last month. What is the most appropriate professional response? A. Tell the student they must complete the test or they cannot continue in the program. B. Explain the purpose of the CASAS assessment and how it helps create their personalized learning plan. C. Allow the student to skip the assessment since they've taken a similar one recently. Or D. Report the student's refusal to program administrators immediately. Consider your response carefully before proceeding to the next slide. Take a moment to think through the professional and educational implications of each approach. Here's the answer reveal and documentation procedures for our previous question. The correct answer is option B. Explain the purpose of the CASAS assessment and how it helps create their personalized learning plan. This approach respects student concerns while emphasizing the educational benefits of the assessment. Proper documentation procedures include 4 essential steps. First, record the refusal in the student's assessment file for accurate tracking. Second, note any concerns that might affect future assessments to inform planning. Third, schedule a follow-up session if appropriate to provide additional opportunities. Finally, complete required institutional documentation to maintain compliance standards. Professional response protocols encompass 4 key approaches. Explain assessment purpose clearly, but respectfully to address student concerns. Offer alternative assessment options if available to accommodate different needs. Respect student privacy and maintain confidentiality throughout the process. And consider cultural or personal factors affecting participation to ensure inclusive practices. Now let's examine the work settings comparison for CASAS implementation across different adult education environments. Adult education centers serve as the primary CASAS implementation site for student placement and progress monitoring. These centers offer full range of assessment administration, conduct regular progress monitoring for NRS reporting, and staff are typically fully CASAS certified. Community colleges use CASAS for non-credit program placement and ESL departments. They focus on targeted assessment for program entry, often integrate CASAS with other college placement tests, and may use specialized CASAS modules tailored to their programs. Workforce development provides employment-focused implementation of CASAS for job readiness. Their approach emphasizes workplace competencies, utilizes industry-specific assessment modules, and uses CASAS for employment barrier identification. Libraries and community sites offer community-based CASAS implementation for public access. They provide limited scope assessment administration, focus on literacy-focused implementations, and often partner with adult education programs to extend services. Each setting adapts CASAS implementation to meet their specific community and educational needs. Now let's explore CASAS topics with a focus on adult education. The key assessment areas encompass 4 critical competencies: reading comprehension and vocabulary development for improved literacy skills, applied mathematics and problem solving for practical numerical applications, listening comprehension skills for effective communication and instruction following, and writing applications and grammar for clear written communication. Assessment implementation involves 4 essential protocols. Standardized test administration ensures consistent evaluation procedures. Progress monitoring protocols track student advancement over time. Data collection and analysis provide measurable outcomes for program improvement. And assessment of functional and workplace skills prepares students for employment success. Integration strategies include 2 key approaches. Alignment with curriculum frameworks ensures assessments support educational objectives, and choosing between group versus individual assessment approaches allows for flexible implementation based on program needs and student requirements. These comprehensive topics ensure CASAS assessments effectively serve adult education programs and support student success. Now let's explore communication skills in adult education. Skilled CASAS administrators must communicate clearly with diverse adult learners, explaining assessment procedures and creating a supportive testing environment. Effective communication encompasses 3 essential skills. Clear explanation of test instructions and purpose ensures students understand assessment requirements. Active listening to learner questions and concerns demonstrates respect and support. And the ability to adapt communication to different learning levels meets diverse educational needs. Cross-cultural communication involves 4 critical competencies. Cultural sensitivity, when administering assessments, respects diverse backgrounds. Strategies for communicating with English learners address language barriers effectively. Creating an inclusive assessment environment ensures all students feel welcome. And using plain language while avoiding jargon promotes clear understanding. Professional communication requires 3 key abilities. Explaining assessment results to students and stakeholders provides meaningful feedback. Communicating with instructors about student progress supports educational planning. And clear documentation in assessment reports maintains professional standards and accountability. These communication skills ensure effective CASAS implementation across diverse adult education populations. Now let's examine professional ethics and student rights in CASAS administration. Ethical principles encompass 4 fundamental requirements. Administrators must maintain confidentiality of assessment data and student information at all times. They must administer assessments with fairness and without bias, ensuring equal treatment for all students. Respecting cultural diversity and individual differences creates an inclusive assessment environment. And following standardized procedures while maintaining test integrity ensures reliable and valid results. Student rights include 4 essential protections. Students have the right to data privacy and protection of their personal information. They have the right to reasonable accommodations that meet their individual needs. Students maintain the right to access their personal assessment records when requested, and they have the right to clear explanation of assessment purpose and results to understand their evaluation. Professional boundaries require 3 key practices. Maintaining appropriate educator-student relationships ensures professional conduct. Using assessment data only for appropriate educational purposes protects student privacy. And upholding professional standards and certification requirements maintains the integrity of the CASAS system. These ethical standards and student rights form the foundation of trustworthy CASAS administration. Now let's explore study strategies for certification. Effective study methods include 5 key approaches. Create a structured study schedule, dedicating 2 to 3 hours daily to consistent preparation. Form study groups with fellow CASAS certification candidates for collaborative learning and support. Use official CASAS preparation materials and guides to ensure accurate content coverage. Make flashcards for key turns and assessment procedures to reinforce important concepts. And take detailed notes during training sessions to capture essential information. Test preparation tips encompass 5 critical practices. Complete practice assessments under timed conditions to simulate the actual testing experience. Focus on understanding concepts rather than memorization for deeper comprehension. Balance content review across all assessment areas to ensure comprehensive preparation. Familiarize yourself with computer-based testing platforms to build technical confidence. And maintain healthy habits, including proper sleep, nutrition, and exercise to support optimal performance. Final preparation during the week before your exam involves 3 essential steps. Review weak areas identified in practice tests for targeted improvement. Plan your test day schedule and logistics to reduce stress and ensure smooth execution. And practice relaxation techniques for test anxiety to maintain calm focus during the assessment. These comprehensive strategies will prepare you for CASAS certification success. Now let's examine certification renewal and continuing education requirements for CASAS administrators. Renewal requirements include 4 essential components. Renewal is required every 3 years to maintain active certification status. Administrators must complete 15 to 20 continuing education hours during each renewal period. A minimum of 8 hours of active assessment administration experience is required to demonstrate practical competency. And documentation of all professional development activities must be maintained for verification purposes. Continuing education options offer 3 flexible pathways. CASAS-sponsored workshops provide direct training from certification authorities. Online training modules offer convenient, self-paced learning opportunities. And professional learning communities facilitate collaborative knowledge sharing with fellow practitioners. Maintaining certification involves 4 ongoing responsibilities. Keep comprehensive records of all assessments administered throughout your certification period. Stay current with CASAS updates and changes to assessment protocols. Review assessment manuals annually to ensure compliance with current standards. And complete your renewal application before the expiration date to avoid certification lapse. Let's conclude with our key reference summary for CASAS certification. Assessment content areas include 6 key competencies: reading comprehension, mathematics, listening, writing, critical thinking, and life skills. Certification requirements encompass 5 essential components: 40 to 80 training hours, written assessment, performance tasks, 70 to 80% minimum score, and signed ethics agreement. Work settings span 6 diverse environments: adult education centers, community colleges, workforce development, correctional facilities, libraries, and community organizations. Renewal requirements include 5 ongoing obligations. Renewal every 3 years, 15 to 20 continuing education hours, 8 or more hours of assessment administration experience, documentation submission, and updated training on current standards. Professional standards encompass 6 fundamental principles: confidentiality, fairness, accommodations, standardized procedures, database decisions, and cultural sensitivity throughout the assessment process. These comprehensive standards ensure professional CASAS implementation across all adult education programs. For free CASAS practice tests, prepare for success with our comprehensive practice materials. To access these valuable resources, simply check it out by clicking the link in the description below this video. Alternatively, you can scan the QR code displayed on screen for instant access to our practice test materials. These practice tests are provided by CASAS, the Comprehensive Adult Student Assessment System Overview, brought to you by PracticeTestGeeks.com.